pretty fun. It was fun to watch both these guys play, and this is going to fly. These guys are very, very strong, very good at this game, so let's sit back and
So the first seed I saw tonight was a heart, like the heart-filled seed. I'm wondering if this one's going to be a heart-starved seed now.
Yeah, it's cool because, you know, all the different matches that we've seen, they don't play out the same at all. You think with the similar flags, you're going to see, you know, quite similar type of matchups and stuff. And we're starting a level 2 here is in Vanilla 3. All these dungeons are shuffled, and the hearts are shuffled as well. So there's 2 items in here on the floor they got to dig out a little.
I wonder if... I almost want to say JSR was trying to Kananaki, but he was against the wrong door.
Yeah, he wasn't setting up a Kananaki for sure. This is a tough room to dig out, not because the combat's difficult, but those bubbles sometimes will not leave you alone, especially if you get in the middle of the room like this. So JSR doing a really good job right now. Rick going a different direction, so let's see what the left side of the dungeon brings.
One little note to start here is Rick got bombs, JSR did not. And Rick finds a quick Triforce in 2.
Yeah, JSR is going to find that too. He's got the compass. He did pick up a heart already, so we know one of the items in level 2 is the heart container. So he is actually trying that Kananaki just like you said. So what he's going to do here is he's going to press up against this door. When the left shutter opens, that key door at the bottom is going to let him go through, and now that key door was able to be used due to a glitch in the game called the Kananaki.
So he's through the door. Only a key in this room with blue land molas, which is good. Doesn't have to actually take those out.
Yeah, and he's in with some more bunnies. So again, these guys really aren't that dangerous. They do 2 hearts of damage, so 1 bop here will hurt him, but nothing else in the room. It's just kind of a take your time and be patient with this map.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's a clock. That'll make it even easier. But the Pole's voices are very predictable in their movements, so definitely not difficult at all to take out.
It's just tough to do quickly because you just want to keep fighting, and they'll change direction on you real quick. JSR probably going to play some... he's not even going to do the doorway strat there. Rick did the Kananaki as well on the right side of the screen, but unfortunately got bodied, and he's headed back to start, just like JSR.
So, no map yet. Map might be guarded by one of those sets of blue land molas. And... that's going to make it tough if you want to try to bomb some walls. You won't know exactly where to bomb.
Yeah, it's a good point. If this is the first time you joined us, that we are in shapes. So this is not the vanilla level 2 level, the moon design they're used to seeing. They've got to discover what this map looks like. So having that's very handy. Unfortunately, like you said, those Lamolas or something else is hiding that map.
Usually with the way the Shapes Dungeons works out is the map is usually available without having to bomb any walls, though they don't guarantee how easy it will be to get.
Yeah, exactly. Once you start seeing items on the ground, you know, 5 rupees, bombs, and stuff like that, the map should be available within that set of rooms. So as soon as you start seeing those drops, but that's it. That's the only promise you get. Other than that, it's go find it.
Rick did find a bomb wall as GSR finds level 8 at the level 1 spot.
Yeah, it's cool to find because there's 3 items in here. There's going to be a floor item, which is usually the floor heart. Ooh, we're ladder blocked here, though. That's no fun. There's also 2 underground items, so 3 items total in 8. The problem is when you come in here with wood, sword, and a few hearts, sometimes the combat's a little rough.
Yeah, it's not a fun one to dive with low resources. We'll see how long JSR decides to dig this. We got a segmented 2.
Yeah, Rick doing a little more work than JSR did in 2. Let's see if it pays off for him. We know one item was the heart container. Let's see what the other one is. JSR is doing work in this room continually because this is an item dropping room. Or it's also a push block room as well. So he's got double the chance of something getting in here.
Rick is out of level 2 for now. Don't even think he found that heart container.
Yeah, the medium being a 27 is not bad. Usually it's a medium's 30. Oh, JSR got off that block. He's got to get back into it. You cannot reverse clip into those blocks. You got to do the regular one. Doing great work. He actually warmed up by fighting Darknets tonight. I was watching his stream a little bit, so really good work here. Let's see if it pays off.
Well, there is a boomerang.
Yeah, mean, it's knowledge, right? You didn't grab it. Sometimes you will early on in the seed, but if you're in a dungeon with dark nuts and whiz robes, none of which is phased by that bloomerang, he's not going to grab that at all.
Oh, we got dark nuts and whiz robes in the dungeons.
Yeah, this is a rough combined set. JSR doing a pretty heads-up maneuver here. What he's doing is he's killing these orange whiz robes, and then when he resets the room, whatever enemy has highest room priority is going to spawn. So if the orange whiz robes spawn high, he's going to get those every single time he goes back and forth. Unfortunately, the top 2 spawns were the blue dark nuts, so he's going to have to challenge you guys again.
Ooh, takes a death there.
Yeah, he's pretty close to start. You never want to die, but if you're going to die, this is where you want to do it. He's only a couple rooms from start, and every enemy that he killed when he left that room, before he left that room, is going to stay dead. So they're kind of locked in. So it wasn't too painful of a death. Now he's got 3 hearts, and he's still got these guys to combat again. He actually rolled a little low, which is nice too. So the wood sword's going to be able to take these guys out with good technique here.
Unfortunately, no drop in that room.
No, but he did check this wall over here, so he's going to save a key by going to the right, unless it's an old man, and it's not. So he might be able to bomb north once he gets some bombs here and get back into that room. So he'll be able to progress south, so this is good.
Rick is done with 8. Did not want to spend the time in there, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's going to be one that you can come back to once you get some upgraded material. If you get a wand early or something, you go check the Armos item and see if maybe red ring or wand or something that could help you out. JSR is going to tough it out. He does have a key to go right now, a couple extra ones that he picked up, so he wants to do just a little more poking around. This is where the difference of the runners comes into play, because JSR is known for his combat technique and his combat prowess. He's one of the best vanilla Z1 runners in the world. It definitely has a combat advantage over Rick, but Rick has that kind of rando sense. He does a lot of different randos and says, you know what, maybe I'll come back here when I got some upgraded weaponry, and it might work out that way. And that's how Rick can beat a JSR, because combat doesn't always rain. Sometimes that sixth sense comes into play as well.
He's going to go for the Armos item. See if it's shuffled or if it's in its vanilla spot. There's a wand for JSR.
Yeah, speaking of a combat upgrade that could have helped Rick when he came back, unfortunately for Rick, it is in level 8 itself, so he had to stay here to...
And we do find the Armos item is shuffled. It is at the small secret Armos spot, and the small secret, only 1 rupee.
I mean, it's one more than you had. You can't be too mad, right?
That's true.
You gotta look at the positives, right?
There's our medium secret, rolled a little small 27.
So the 2 things that the wand has going for it, 1, you can hit things at range. Of course, you can't hit dark nuts, but you can hit things at range usually. Second thing is the ginormous hitbox it has on it makes it not fair when you're attacking enemies. So it's going to do 2 hit points of damage almost in 1 square tile all the way around length when you're swinging that thing. So it's a lot of fun to wield, and it helps clean up these dark nuts a whole lot faster than it would have.
And hard containers are 3rd item in 8. So JSR digs all 3 items out of 8. While the one's a nice advantage for him, it'll definitely help with this combat, it's not a progression item per se. So still kind of looking for that first progression item.
JSR is looking for some bombs here. That was a very dangerous screen. Those gorillas, the boomerangs, when they hit you, they do 1 point of damage. So if you would have died trying to grab those, that would have been very unfortunate. What he's doing here is he's trying to get some money. Both these runners will eventually want a candle. So you saw Rick go up in the northwest of Death Mountain there. He went to pick up at least over 65, which is kind of the safe zone for a candle. So Rick has his money right now. JSR is doing the same. He's going to poke around, try to find that candle, and then get the money to acquire it.
AdirondackRick found a use for that boomerang. The stout foes have rolled low.
It's always nice when things roll 0.
And there was a mugger room. Likely did not guard anything, though. So no worries there, but Rick's out of 7 now. I believe he knows that the candle's at the blue ring shop now.
Yeah, so it can either be in the forgotten spot, which is northwest of level 1, or it can be right here on the screen JSR is at. It is here, and it's 42, which is huge for JSR because he only had 45. Those north of that, he's going to have to come back to it. Rolling so low means JSR is going to save a few screens of overworld time later. That was very, very fortunate for JSR. And now you're seeing that world-class movement. The left to right screen scroll saves so much time going along here. He's going to pick up a heart. This is going to give him 6. It's going to allow him to definitely get the white sword item that's north of the old lady's secret, the vanilla, up at the waterfall. So he's got his number there. He's going to pick up a large secret here too. Rick's probably going to follow his footsteps here. He's going to do it a little slower. That's just the difference between JSR and Rick. But like we said, Rick's got that know-how of rando that just allows you to do things.
Do have a slightly bigger than usual big secret at 107. So you have 3 big secrets to dig from if you need the rupees.
Yeah, it's really nice. It allows you to get a blue ring if you ever want it. In every single seed that you play, just there's the money's out there. You got to buy arrows sometimes. You got to buy that candle. JSR doing some fancy work you just saw a little bit ago, getting up in the HUD clip and everything like that. This guy's bringing all the tricks to the table.
We saw a book on the coast. No chance anyone's going to go back for that.
No, not at all. Worst item in the game. Basically, all it does is adds fire to your wand, which sounds like a good thing until you run into it, and takes half heart of damage to him. So it is definitely the one item that you can leave on the coast.
So there's Naquamentus in 1. Didn't really guard anything. There was our Armos item, just a heart container.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pickup for Rick. JSR is getting a heart container out of 1. Finding 1 this early is really nice because you're going to have 3 items very, very quickly. The level 1's usually pretty small, so a good find for JSR. But Rick, knowing where that Armos item was, went straight for it. We've got an Annie key in 1. And JP, you're seeing the difference here in combat between when JSR just had the wood sword and then now having the wand. It is night and day. That wand allows you to clear rooms so quickly, and JSR is very adept at that.
Yeah, JSR getting that wand early. As I said, it's not progression, but it is definitely allowing him to clear out these rooms faster. It's going to allow him to gain some time over Rick.
Yeah, I've heard him known, and I like this term for his quality of life items. They help things and they make it easier for you to get through the seed. The wand, the Annie key, those types of things are quality of life. They're not necessary. That you don't have to have them to beat the game. They just make everything easier. And whoever coined that phrase, thank you.
So at this point, we're just looking for a staircase item in 1. That'll take us to our 3rd item.
Yeah, JSR is going to bounce. He got a ladder blocked there, and usually what you're looking for in shapes is you're trying to get down to the very bottom row because every single shape is going to have at least a room on the bottom row. And because he was going south and got ladder blocked, JSR believes that the majority of that level is going to be there, and he didn't want to play find the bomb hole for the rest of it. So he's out. He's going to find a ladder before he goes back to 1.
We're going to give you we're going to get a level 2 check now.
Yeah, if you want to do a little comparison, watch AdirondackRick go through the same exact level 1 without the wand and just see, every single room is just going to take a couple seconds longer because you don't have that upgraded combat. So all this time before Rick gets back and gets that wand, it's going to add up room by room.
Got a heart container on the floor in 3.
You said at the top of the broadcast here that you had a heart seed earlier. JSR in 14 minutes has amassed 6 additional hearts. So he is about a heart every 2 minutes on pace right now.
I'm actually trying to figure out which heart I missed. Oh, there's the silvers in 3.
Yeah, that's always great to find because a lot of times you'll find bow and you'll find like wrapped and recorder and you're like, okay, are the silvers going to be a 9 or whatnot? It's the one thing that you might have to gamble on. It's the one important item that might be in there. if you find silvers before bow, you know the bow has to be outside of 9. So it's the right way to find things, and it's very nice to find it that way. If you're a fan rooting for Rick right now, what you want is you want trolley items. You want a trolley ladder. You want a trolley raft so that when they make a route divergence, that AdirondackRick can make up a little bit of time here on this not having the wand and whatnot by finding something that's a little trollier than what JSR can find.
I think GSR got ladder blocked in 3, so he's on his way out of there now.
Seems to be the common thread right now is whoever finds ladder first is going to be able to progress inside dungeons. So even though JSR's got, a little bit of a lead and he's distancing himself right now, if Rick finds that ladder before JSR does, you're seeing a little bit of glitch here on JSR's screen. But Rick could definitely catch back up. What happened there was if you've got gorillas and boomerangs and everything like that, and you kill them, or moblins even, and you kill them in just on the right frame, then those guys will not wake up. And you got to just reload that screen.
Let's see what JSR grabs here. Gonna grab a 10th heart. He's already in magic sword range.
I'm gonna make a check at 16 minutes because that would be hilarious. Rick finds his silver arrows, so he is, as far as things you need to beat the game, he's right there with JSR. They both have 1 Triforce. They both have the silvers. So he's right on his heels right now. And he has a little bit of knowledge of level 7 being in the Northwest, so he's got some knowledge of the overworld that JSR does not.
There's our ladder.
But uh-oh. That is a big uh-oh if you were in Rick's shoes right now. JSR found what he needed to progress in all the other levels, and now he's going to be able to go back to this East Coast and sweep through very quickly. I'm going to go out on a limb right now, JP. Sorry to cut you off. I think JSR is done in 43 minutes this seed.
Oh, that's a pretty big claim there. There's level 9.
All right, so JSR found level 9. What he's going to do now is he's going to check Vanilla 9 because we know that's going to be mixed into one of the dungeons. He's got to find that. It's probably going to be one of the bigger ones because we've seen a lot of little ones, maybe 5 or 4 or something like that. But he wants to go up here because coming up Death Mountain later is just it just takes a while to do.
I think we have not seen 4, 5, and 6 at this point.
Yeah, the one you don't want to find is 6. You want to find 4 or 5 first and maybe find your bow or your raft or something. You always want to go mode 6 if you can because it's the largest of the dungeons usually that only has 2 items. So usually you want to save 6 for the end.
Unfortunately, there's 6.
Yeah, commentator's curse. There you go, man.
And you basically start up in the upper left-hand corner, so this could be a very big exploration of 6 coming up. There's the white sword.
Well, the cool thing for JSR 2 is not only is it the white sword, it's the floor item, which means all he needs now is a stairway item and the Triforce, which the compass can point you to. So if he has to dig, this is the best case scenario in 6 to dig, is not as having that floor item already. And Rick, like we talked about earlier, having the money, having the funds is going to pick up that blue ring. He says, you know what? I've seen the combat inside 8. A lot of the dungeons could have mixed whiz robes and dark nuts like that. I'm going to pick up this blue ring, and maybe me not dying is going to help out quite a bit inside the level where JSR might take a death.
Well, JSR, despite being in a white tunic right now, is still on. This still does not have a ring, so he's still taking full damage from enemies. So it's possible he could take some deaths. But as you said, he's really good at combat, so deaths are a little more unlikely.
Oh my gosh, you take that Triforce and go, he's going to bounce. I don't think he's coming back in here. The nice thing about a floor Triforce like that where you didn't have to clear a room is now it's just stairways. So if he has to come back to 6, if he wants to do it now or later, all he has to do, he can fly through every room because no matter what the room drops, it's not going to help him. If it's a key, doesn't matter. If it's a 5 rupee, doesn't matter. He does not need a drop out of a room. All he needs is the map maybe and stairways. So it's going to be a very, very fast cleanup of 6.
JSR does go back in. But as you said, he's just looking for a staircase. There's one. it is a transport. Now, level 6 is guaranteed to have at least one set of transport staircases.
JSR is going to check those 2 walls before he picks up and refills his bombs. So again, you're going to be able to see him fly. He's just going to take every open door he can. If the combat's quick, he's going to keep going on the direction he's going. Here, he's looking for a map. Maybe he's going to go south as well. This is going to be a very, very fast. He's picking up money just because he can, even though he has 182. This could be the room right here, JP.
Yep. Got to clear out the enemies first before you can try to push.
You know, the other school of thought is it's kind of like level 9 when you need an item. And sometimes you take the stairway when you find it because it's going to eliminate 2 sets of possible stairs. But JSR does find the other stair. It is the red candle. He does not need it. He's got the wand. He's got his repeatable source of firepower. He's going to bounce out of that, and he is completely done with level 6. That was a very, very fast 6.
Yeah, compared to what we can see from 6, that was quick. I don't even know how many rooms in there we saw. We never got a map, so... that was about
10,
as fast as...
Yeah, 10 to 12 or something like that was it. That was all he's in.
Rick is taking that ladder going back into 1. There is still a staircase item in 1.
I love this play from Rick because he knows it's going to be a pretty small dungeon. He's looking for a stairway, which this is probably it right here unless it's segmented. And it could get you something important, which is the bow.
Yeah. That's a
so
nice
check this out now. JSR has a 2 point of damage per hit item. Rick now found a 4 point of damage item. So Rick now on the combat has just leapfrogged JSR, plus he has more defense. This got interesting.
We'll have to see how this one plays out. We know JSR is eventually going to get that bow. He has to come back into 1 regardless to get the Triforce at a minimum. So we'll see. Let's see how long Rick gets to have that bow advantage for.
See, I like this play by JSR too on his side because when you have Wiz Robes and Darknuts combined as your enemy set, that means the levels that don't have that are going to be quick clears. So what do you see him doing? You see him going ahead and digging some of the levels that don't have that set, because then when he has to go back to the other ones, he has all the items out of the other ones. He knows he has to be in those levels. It's not, do I stay, do I not stay? He could go mode those levels that have the tougher sets. So he's going to go ahead and dig a 7 right now. Plus this level's a little out of the way anyway. So this is heads up just because of the enemies that are inside of the level. That's the reason he's doing this.
Rick went back into 1. I thought he had found all 3 items. Maybe he didn't get the heart container.
Yeah, maybe it's the heart container. I think you're right. So if you take a look at that 7, that should tell you exactly what 8's going to look like. Mostly in the southeast, you'll probably have a troll stair or 2 because the pockets there are just 1 room apiece. So 8 could have a couple dummy stairs, which is going to be kind of a bummer because they're going to be looking for stairways unless they're in go mode looking for their items. So it might actually lead them astray.
There's the transport staircase in 7, the 1 guaranteed set.
I think he's kind of pot committed now too. JSR has seen probably over 50% of the room, so I think he's going to want to pull this item out of here. Otherwise, if he bounces with the Triforce right now, all the time between seeing the Triforce the very first time and leaving now is completely wasted. It's gone. So you're kind of sunk into this. You want to go ahead and pull this item up.
I don't think GSR's seen either item in 7 yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my fault. Both items. What's the play? What does he do? If you are in JSR's seat, do you stay or do you go?
In JSR's position, I think I have to stay at this point because we haven't seen 4 or 5, and those are raft and recorder blocked. So you can't get into them. You've already cleared out most of the other levels. The only other thing you can actually do at this point is go back to 1.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those levels too because of the location of it. If you have to come back, you've got to come all the way back to the northwest. So not only does it suck because you were here before, then you've got to do that entire walk again. So that's probably in JSR's mind and playing into it. Rick back in 3 as well. So you see him doing some cleanup inside of levels that we had some ladder blocks before, some of the easier levels. And he's saying, okay, let's make the game easier and pick up some items out of here, and then I'll go back to the bigger levels.
And actually looking through I'm kind of tracking stuff as I go. GSR, he's seen 2 items out of 1, 1 item out of 2, 2 items out of 3, 2 items out of 6, and all 3 items in 8. At this point for him, he's got to find the 1 item in 1, 1 item in 2, or the 2 items in 7. Those are his choices. And at least one of those items has to be Raptor Recorder.
Yeah, he is in this level 7. He is probably gripping the control a little tighter because now he's seeing rooms for like the 3rd time going through. So he's got to go back down that stairway and get to the northeast side of 7. That's going to have both of his items. This is just kind of it's a weird and windy one, the way he had to do this. Rick, meanwhile, in 3, we knew the silvers were in here, which he's made use of as well. He's only on 9 rupees now, so he's got to be careful of his using those silvers, repetitively. Is he looking for that other item? What was the other item in 3? Was it a heart container?
Yeah, silver is in heart container in 3.
Got it, thanks. All right, so Rick is just looking for the Triforce that's in this room. Just got to make sure he doesn't die, and he is good to go.
I think Rick had already picked up both items, too. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah, so Rick has the bow and silvers in 3 Triforces. He has a 1 Triforce lead over JSR. He knows about level 7. If there's nothing in this level 7 and Rick is able to go mode this, all this time that JSR spends in here is completely gone. And that's going to be something that Rick can catch up on later. Oh, dear God, that's not... Coming in from the left side is a really rough room to come in on. Luckily, they stayed away a little bit at arm's length. We do have a heart container. JSR says, no, thank you. He's got enough hearts.
Rick going back to level 1 spot, which I believe was level 8.
Yeah, that was the one with the tougher enemy set. Now that he's got the blue ring and the Annie key, it's going to be a little bit easier. JSR is trying to find this floor item out of 9. Did Rick pick up a potion there? Or...
I think he picked up a heart because he was at 7 before.
All right, so he's trying to get as much defense as possible before he goes back into that level 8.
Oh, he did grab a potion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Usually you don't go out of your way to go get a heart like that once you're over 6, but you will go out of your way to get the potion, so that makes it... And it's pretty much what Rick does in most of his seeds anyway. He always seeks out a potion at some... So this could give him the wand now, so he might have JSR caught up on as far as items. JSR now finding the item there, but did not get the Triforce, I don't think, out of 7.
No, he didn't.
Wow, that's a pretty big gap. Now, the one thing that could save him is if he finds the power bracelet somewhere, he'll be able to quickly get back up there, and that Triforce is only a couple of rooms away. But we're talking 45 seconds or a minute now. JSR put back on his time by not grabbing that right now. If he doesn't find the power bracelet, then he's got to find a good time to go back up to the northwest.
So, also, just going through my notes here, I think that confirms that the second item in level 2 is either the Raptor Recorder.
Yeah, it's got to be something to break the sequence block, right? It's got to be progression for sure.
Yeah, it does.
All right, JSR going back into 1. He's going to get his bow out of here, so this is going to be really, really good for him. And like you said, he started to, he's only got a few spots left he can check. That level 2 spot. He's going to go back into 3 probably and look at that. But his options are kind of running low at this point.
As a quick question in chat, Rick does have the Triforce lead at this point, but in terms of overall checks, JSR has checked a little bit more than Rick has. So it's hard to say if either of these runners really is in the lead right now.
Yeah, until you're in quote-unquote go mode, one item can really throw you off, so it's very, very close.
I think JSR almost did another up in A and left the dungeon before grabbing the Triforce.
I think that 7 rattled him just because of how many times he had to go through and all the rooms that he had to check there, and he was just so frustrated he up 8. I've been there. I mean, you've been there. Everybody has. It's played Rando. He's going to go ahead and grab this Triforce out of 1 now. He's back caught up with Rick, and he's got level 6 where Rick has level 3's Triforce. So as far as the tougher Triforces to get, JSR has that a little bit. Rick doing great work in this blue Wizrobe room that looks like it's going to be required. I'm not sure if he's gone north here. Okay. So he has passed up the Triforce. He's looking for the other item. He's met by a Patra now, but great work in that room, hanging out in the doorway, just taking it calm, taking it easy, and getting through there looking for this floor drop.
Yeah, Rick still has to find the heart container and the wand in here. JSR go back to 3, just needs the Triforce. And at that point, as you said, it's pretty much back into 2 for JSR.
Yeah, the bummer for Rick right now is that because he went left instead of going to the northeast in 8, he didn't get that wand that JSR did. The wand would have done so much work here against the Patra and against the Darknets that we saw him having to bomb and stuff earlier. So inside this same dungeon is an item that can help him clear this dungeon.
We took a death to the Patra. Let's see if that changes his route at all.
Yeah, he's checking his map. You see him just working over this southwest. He might be just kind of booking it. Okay, he's just going to check the couple rooms here. I'm going to see if he's going to grab this Triforce or if he's going to go. There's quite a few rooms. And again, now we see a Gleeok that the wand can take out and help you take out that he's going to have to use Wood Sword on just because of the direction he went. So sometimes luck can come up and bite you.
Yeah, so far that white sword that JSR, as you said, it's just been paying off so much for him. It's even though Rick's not that far behind, it's just helping JSR get ahead and just stay ahead.
It's crazy too because I think a Dig Dogger blocked the wand in the northeast. So I sat there and it confused me for a second because I'm like, I swear to God, this room was in the northeast on JSR's screen.
JSR heading back into level 2. This has to be the Rafter Recorder in here.
Yeah, like you said, this is the proper play. I think that JSR is you don't want to go back and redig dungeons that you already have the Triforce out of. So what you saw him do there is he went and he started digging dungeons he didn't have it out of. And if you find your progression block there, great, because you got to get the Triforce anyway. Well, now you're kind of up against it, and you've got to go and find it where you already have the Triforce. And it's a bummer, but it's a double dip that's almost required at this point. So Rick now doing some more work in the southeast of 8. He's going to see every room in this 8, unfortunately, I believe. And it's putting a lot of time somewhere that JSR was able to navigate a little easier, even without the map.
So we had a Dig Dogger there. That wouldn't be guarding a recorder, though it could guard a raft. Of course, that's unlikely at this point, since we know we're looking for a floor item in here. And we know that there's no other items that we can get to.
I am really interested in... Oh my god, Fairy Explosion. That was exactly what he wanted right there.
Rick's got the Triforce out of 8, and there's the raft in 2.
Yeah, good call by you. Heads up tracking there. The raft was in 2. That's our progression. Now he's going to be able to go to whatever is at 2. Is it level 5, I believe we haven't seen yet? And he's going to hope that the recorder is in 5.
We haven't seen 4 or 5, because we still have the recorder and the raft spots.
Yep, that makes complete sense. So he's got to hope whichever one he finds, 4 or 5 there, has his recorder. That would put him into go mode, and all he would have to do is go back and through, clean up these Triforces, and one of those, unfortunately, is going to be level 7. Rick is going to have to play a little catch-up here. He's got to get out of this level 8 to do.
And actually, that pretty much guarantees the recorder is in whatever is at this raft spot, 4 or 5.
Let it be 4. Let it be 4. No, come on.
Out of curiosity, why did you want that to be 4?
It's the shorter of the two. I'm thinking as a runner, it's the shorter of the two to dig, and if you got to dig looking for the last remaining item, you want to dig 4 and not 5. So that's what I was thinking of. I don't care about the commentators or whatever, but if I'm the runner there, you want this to be full.
That's fair.
Oh my gosh, and Rick sees the last room in the northeast. Not what he wants. He does want those bombs. He's going to grab that. That far northeast room is just, unfortunately, just the bomb drop, and he takes the long, crazy route to find the wand that JSR found 30 minutes ago.
Rick is out. I don't think he ever found the floor item in here. Won't hurt him. It was just a heart container.
JSR going to play a little doorway magic with that Goma there. Does pick up the wand for his troubles. And again, this 5 is like a little mini 8 or 7. I hate level 5. Liquid Husband will tell you too. It's his worst. It's his least favorite level in the entire game in shapes is level 5.
Rick is heading up towards the level 9 spots.
All right, so this is going to be his level 6. And again, remember we had just the red candle in 6. That was it. We had the white sword that's going to be north too. Yeah, he's going to grab that white sword, which will be helpful for Rick as well.
Remember, this is also a level that JSR got through really fast. He only had to be in somewhere between 10 to 15 rooms.
Yeah, he did the top 8 here. There's going to be 4 under the W, O, R, and L. There's going to be, 2 rows deep of rooms. There's 8 rooms up here, and then he did the entire W all the way down. So if Rick stays on that path, then he'll do the same number of rooms JSR did.
Not sure if that was a frustration slash or a bomb building slash.
It was frustration. I'll tell you that right now.
I think we might have essentially a segmented 5 where you have to find a staircase to get to the north, or maybe not.
All right, so there's a Goma that Rick was going to be able to kill this time to see if there's a floor drop here that JSR had to bounce out of. JSR finds the Triforce in 5, but like you said, he's got to grab this recorder, so he knows he's in it to win it here too.
There's the recorder.
All right, so that puts JSR officially in go mode. He's Triforce and go. All he's got to do is clean up these Triforces. He doesn't have the compass out of 8, so that's probably the trolliest play he has left. 7 is very quick. 4 is going to be somewhat quick because he doesn't need any items in there, and 4 is usually a smaller level. So Rick has got to get after it. If you're a fan of Rick right now, you've got to hope he finds the rest of these items in 6, the Triforce and the other item, very, very quickly. If he keeps going east, this is bad news. This is where JSR up-aid, and Rick is going to continue on. This is all time that Rick is going to lose here in this 6.
Here we go. JSR into level 4.
Yeah, and I like the play to go south here first because the shape has to touch the bottom. So if there's any bombing to do, it's going to kind of guide him to see where to bomb here. So I like going south when you can. If you're like in the middle of the dungeon or whatnot, this is, I think, a pretty good. Unfortunately, it leads you right to an old man, making a fool out of me.
Yeah, Rick is still in level 6. Definitely taking more time now than JSR did.
Good question in chat here while we're watching these guys go through here. So how do you know what the map's going to look like? You really don't in shapes. 1 through 6 is going to share a grid, so they're all going to interlock together somehow. So like that level 4, you see it's kind of going over those spaces. There's probably a level that snakes around and comes under, but they all fit together. 1 through 6 does. Then 7 and 8 shares a map, and then 9's a map on its own. So you don't really know. You just kind of have to get the map and guess. But there's some strategies that you can use to clearing rooms even when you can't see the map.
There's our other item in 4. That's a heart container. So power bracelet has to be in 5, which means I believe red ring and wooden boomerang are in 9.
You know why JSR picked up that heart container that time? It's because he has to go back to 7 right now, and he's going to be able to have a pretty good shot at mags with that heart container. Otherwise, he'd have left that like he did the other one.
That's a good point.
So this could be your Triforce room right here, this little fake river room right here that doesn't fool anybody. It's not blocking anything from you. Could be his Triforce. You see that wand just completely doing work right now, unfortunately.
Rick has found both items out of 6.
All right, so he just has to go south, and he's going to find his Triforce. So he spent a little more time in here than JSR did, just because he went to the northeast. And you kind of see that pattern, right? That's the story of this seed so far. Is Rick is just unfortunately gone the wrong way in levels, and he's cleared out nooks and crannies that JSR was able to find the right way on a couple of these bigger dungeons, and it's cost a lot of time.
I think Rick is going to be heading back into 7 now. He has not got either item out of there, which is double heart container.
Yeah, and he's missing his raft still, so not going back to 2. And I don't blame him because he's already got the Triforce in 2, so he's doing levels that he hasn't picked up out of. That's just kind of the adage you want to do. He's probably going to dig both of these items out of 7, which is unfortunate for him as well.
Yeah, JSR, looks like this Triforce in 4 is... Oh, it's basically at the last room you're ever going to explore in this dungeon.
Yeah, he picks up that compass and he's like, yeah, I know. That's what you say when you get that one, because you're like, I know, man. I've done every other room here.
So not what you were hoping for. Not a fast 4. I think he did end up exploring every room. So that might give him a little time back, especially if he decides to go left first.
Yeah, absolutely could, because being that last room, like you said. Now, the cool thing for JSR is going to be, he's got to do 7 and 8. He's already over here, so he's going to be able to do this this scroll over, check the mags, and then go up and pick up his level 7 Triforce. This was not intended. If you tell him to draw up the middle of this, if you do a router's relish type thing on how you're going to close the seed out, he would have already had this Triforce. But he's taking advantage of this, and if you make a mistake, you might as well capitalize on it somewhere that you can, and this check right here could be the way.
He can't pick it up!
And he can't grab it! That's the worst! Now tell me he remembers where that heart container was in 7. He's going to go pick it up and go back, because that would just be hilarious.
There were 2 in here. We'll see if he finds the one he missed, yeah.
Oh my god, I don't even need reminded. I'm just going to ask him that. That's the first question. I gotta ask what his mind was going through when he couldn't pick that up.
Now he's just grabbing the Triforce and running.
Yeah, so all this time that Rick's spending in here right now, JSR already did this, guys. So Rick's not losing time in this 7, I promise you, because JSR saw these rooms sometimes 3 times, sometimes 4 times. He went through this quite a bit. So this is not where the seed was won or lost right here. Rick is doing everything JSR did, just at a different time in the seed.
So this will work out somewhat for GSR here. He's going to go into 8, and then 9 is back up over by the white sword.
Yeah, so we can just scale them out and go up, 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 or whatever. The one thing we do know right now is Rick was able to get that compass. I believe it was in the southwest, so it made it a little easy to find, but the Triforce is under the E or the V over there on the left, so he's got to kind of make his way over that way. JSR is just going straight south, and he hasn't seen these rooms. All he did was go northeast when he was here.
Rick sees one of the 2 items.
That heart container wasn't that far in 7. JSR could have totally done that. What a crazy enemy set, man. Like, luckily you've got White Sword and Wand to handle this, but, you know, usually you can fight Wizrobes and you've got a technique and a style, but all of a sudden you got a Darknet coming charging at you when you're, like, trying to line up a Wizrobe hit, and you're like, come on, man, just make it fair.
So I believe Rick has to bomb up, and it's the second item in 7 is in one of these rooms up here.
Yeah, I think you're 100%. I believe the Triforce is here. All right, JSR's got all his Triforces at 45 minutes. He will be into level 9 right around the 47-minute mark. Rick is still looking for a couple Triforces. Most importantly, he's got to go back to 2 for the raft, and he's got to go into 5 after that for the recorder. So he's got quite a ways work ahead of him. JSR would have to take a crazy dive into 9, and things come up really, really poorly for him to lose this lead.
Yeah, as you said, it's going to take a lot for Rick to catch back up at this point. Not impossible. We've seen 9 do some really rude things to runners, but yeah, it's going to take a lot at this point.
I mean, if he wants to hand me the controller, I can lose this one for him. I can 100% do that.
Rick's got the Triforce out of 7. I have to believe his next move is to go back into 2, because his only 2 spots he hasn't checked at this point is 1 item in 8 and 1 item in 2. And if those are your 2 choices, you're doing 2 every time.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. He's thinking the same thing too.
So as we go into 9 on JSR's side, we're looking and listening for 2 things. We're listening for the roar of Ganon, looking for a shutter door that does not open. And it will be a single shutter door like in this room. That didn't open.
Like right there. My God, Zelda was listening to you as you were giving that commentary. So we know Zelda right there is just to the left right when you come in. Good. All right, so if you're a Rick fan now, you gotta hope JSR falls asleep at the wheel.
At this point, he's just going to breeze through rooms as much as he can. He's just listening for roars.
So you see the reason that JSR is popping those doors open. Oh my gosh, and a red ring in 9. JP, this is fantastic news for JSR.
Yeah, we did know the red ring would be in there by a process of elimination, but JSR is definitely happy to see that so early.
Yeah, I mean, he's checking a stairway just to kind of map it out. But anyway, the reason he was popping those doors open is because when he checks his map, he'll actually have little notches saying a ways that he can go. So if his manual tracking fails for some reason, you want to pop these doors open whenever you can, so that if you ever have to manually go back and look at it and pause and look at the map, you see the notches of directions you may not have been.
Rick heading over to the segment in 2. The raft was in this segment.
JSR not taking any stairways. That's the decision he's made right now, and a lot of times it makes sense. You don't take them just because you want to see what the level is going to give you. And a lot of times, sometimes stairways are troll stairways, and you spend 30 seconds going through somewhere that you didn't really need to. So he's just going to keep going until the seed makes him take.
Rick's got the raft out of 2. He's heading to the raft spot that'll be level 5 after getting a quick heart refill.
So I would put this on probably a 7 or 8 minute lead for JSR. He was in here, what we said, 45, 46, somewhere in there. Rick's probably gonna get in here about 53, 54. So not not entirely out of the realm that Rick could come back, but he's got an uphill struggle for sure. JSR clipping through and says, I don't care about you, Manhandle. I've got to get through here. The seed told me to turn around. I've got to see where else I can go. He's trying to get to the southwest. Unfortunately, this takes him to a stair that I think he's already seen.
I'm wondering in Rick's position if he thinks he's even with JSR or if he thinks he's behind right now.
I think when you get your last required item right around 45, you start to feel like you're a little bit behind, especially because none of them were too trolly. I mean, the raft was in 2. It's not like it was deep in 6 or 7. So he's probably feeling a little bit behind, but anytime you're sub-hour on these, you still feel like you're doing okay. I'm with Jiggly on this one. I want this series to go 3. These guys are both great guys. They're fantastic runners, and this seed just Rick went the wrong way a couple times, and that's all it took for it to get a little bit away from him. He can catch up for sure. I mean, if this level 9 trolls JSR and does not let him where I think Ganon is in the southwest, he can definitely come in.
Rick's got the map. I believe the Triforce is towards the upper part of the level. Recorder was in one of those minus rooms.
Yeah, Triforce is like the 3rd room under the D, I believe. So he has to keep going north, 3rd or 4th room. He has to keep going north past that, and then he comes back to the Triforce. All right, JSR either heard something or he's in a different location than he's been before, so he is trying to now find ways down to the south. Again, the southwest is just screaming at me that that's where he needs to be.
Only you can prevent forest fires in a room where he literally has 2 fires in it.
Right, exactly. What are you doing, old man? All right, there's the Triforce, so 3rd room under the D like we thought, and then Recorder is going to be north of there, so he's going to be able to pick this up, go back to that Triforce, and now he's starting to go towards 5, so the clock is starting to tick on JSR to find Ganon here, because we know Rick is going to be able to find Zelda very, very quickly. It's the very first room. You can't turn the wrong way on this one.
There's Naco Mendes. That could mask Ganon's roar.
Rick is now in go mode here. 52 minutes, so a little bit of time, like we said, off of JSR's, but in go mode, most importantly, with only the Triforce left over at Recorder Lake to pick up. He does not, JSR, have to go back and pick up the Triforce in 7.
Now, remember that 4. It was a pretty long 4 with the Triforce in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. So route for Rick is going to be really important here. If he heads left, that's going to be good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. This was one of those levels, like you called out before, that he could make up time in. And JSR went south. Rick is going north, so this is some time he can make up right here.
And JSR still has not found Ganon.
He's looking for bombs right now. That's why he's killing those guys out. He's got a bomb left here, I believe. He's got to find a way to get over in the southwest, and this is it. I believe this is the path now. I think JSR is on the right path here. Oh, and he found even more bombs.
He'll leave those there. He can come back later and grab those if he needs to.
Yeah. And there's a possible stair that he can use. If he can go south here, I think he's home free. Sometimes you just get those instincts and those feels of where Ganon might be, and the southwest is just kind of how it felt like the seed was setting up here. I believe there's an old man right under where JSR is bomb.
Yeah, we're running out of spaces for Ganon to be.
We sure are. I thought it would be this way. take that stair or not? You can go right here, and I think it's going to be an old man, but hopefully you can go south. But this is a little bit trolly, too. Well, wasn't an old man, he just couldn't bomb, so... A couple of bomb walls he can check right here. This one to the right and this one south. If this doesn't open, he's got to go back to that possible stairway. Okay, this did. And he's got 2 routes from here.
There's the roar.
Yeah, it's got to be south or east here now. He definitely has access to Ganon from this spot.
And we've got Ganon. So it's going to take 8 hits with the white sword.
Yeah, JSR, a very, very good adept combat fighter of Ganon here. Picking it up in the middle. All he's got to do is wipe him out, gets the stun lock in the southeast. She is just an up A from here. This is it, man. JP, this was a good race.
Yep. This was a very good race. I think, as you said earlier, it was just for JSR. It was mostly about finding those combat advantages early. That's really what gave him the advantage in this seed, and he's played it to get this win.
Yeah, this was, if you had to like put an MVP on the seed, it was the wand grab out of 8 because his combat advantage just completely turned this race upside down. And now Rick is going through. He's going to find this in 4. He's going to find Zelda pretty easily. And Ganon was a little trolly. I bet Rick finishes up in the next 9 or 10 minutes. And, the wand's probably 5 or 6 of those minutes there.
Oh, that's right. That was a blue Wizrobe room, and Rick only had 1 heart.
Yeah, that's so rough right there. I mean, he knows now how to complete the seed. Is it a matter of time? Does he want to do it or does he not? And we are joined by the winner of the race, JSR, with the official SRL time of 55:46. JSR, GG.
Hey guys, thank you very much. How's it going?
We didn't have to go back to 7 for a Triforce. How's it going for you?
Oh man, I knew you were gonna say that. as soon as I hit it, I looked over at my tracker and I was like, oh. And then I almost did it again at level 1, dude. I know. Was pressing start. Oh man.
Matt called that one. Chad said, "Oh, you almost did it again," and I'm like, "No, I think JP did."
Well, because I figured the item was either going to be in 2 or in 1. After I went to 7, because I was convinced if it wasn't in 7, it had to be obviously 2 or 1. But, I was in so much of everything was going so great, because even though there was ladder blocks in every level, I was getting all the items. So it wasn't that bad, and I had any key, and I had the wand, and the ladder was free, and I had this urge, like, okay, you're this close to go mode, dude. Just go. And then I get to 7, and it's like, I had a full clear 7, and all I got was, what the heck was it in there? Like boomerang? No, it was double hearts.
Yep, 7 was double hearts.
Which you didn't pick up, and you couldn't get the magical sword that you went back for going to 7.
I wasn't going to go back for the sword, but I figured once I was going back to 7 anyways, because, I like it so much.
I'm messing with you.
I figured I'd give it a shot. I thought it was a gimme. I was like, oh, sweet, I'll have mags. Because even though there was Dark Nuts and Wizrobes in a lot of the dungeons, they all rolled low, so it wasn't really that bad of a seed, honestly. Like, the Red Ring was kind of nice, but I really didn't have that much issues with combat in this seed. Like, it didn't really feel like it was a tough seed because everything was easy to kill.
I think the biggest difference was between the two of you. When you go back and watch this, the MVP of it was the wand pull out of 8, because you had that for probably 30 minutes before Rick did, and it helped you clear out the other enemy sets from the other dungeons that didn't have the Wizrobes and the Dark Nuts combined. So you're able to fly through dungeons that he was just using Wood Sword on, and that would make a huge difference.
I mean, that was nice to find early. I was nervous because I left 2, and I knew there was an item left. It turned out to be the Raft, I think. I left it, and I was thinking, because I just did the call for random effects matches a couple days ago against Fryteeth, and in both matches, the Red Ring was like super free in 2 if you went through a couple hard rooms and found some bomb holes. And I didn't want to use my bombs. Actually, I didn't even have bombs. I don't think I had bombs when I was in 2 the first time. So I didn't want to risk it just to get a heart or something. And it was in the back of my mind the entire time. Like, what if Rick got the white sword or the red ring or something like that? So when I found that wand, it kind of made me breathe a little bit. Like, no matter what, I can fly. Patra's Dark Nuts, nothing. Pole's Voice, bring it on.
Yeah, he did find the bow out of 1. He went back and redug 1 just because we were a ladder block away from the stairway item. So he had the bow before you did. But unfortunately, there wasn't really a lot of enemy sets to where he could take advantage. There wasn't a lot of Pole's Voice that you were going to have to do 2 hits where he was doing 1. There wasn't a lot of, just combat that he could mop up on. Plus, your money is your ammo, and he kind of ran out a little bit in one of the levels, so he couldn't take a full advantage of having him for that long before you did. But other than that, man, it was just a lot of, you went one way, he went another in a dungeon, so you took 6 minutes to clear out something, he took 8. It just, like, that type of stuff is what led to the advantage that you had.
I won't lie, though, when I got to 9, I typically do a snake path. I'm sure a lot of runners kind of have that same creed. You're listening for Ganon. I found Zelda super early, so I was like, okay, just got to hear the pig. And it turned out to be one of those 9s with magical staircase, like, to get to Ganon. It turned out that you had to go a really crazy route. And in the back of my mind, the entire time I'm going through 9 is I never went right in that first room, and what if he's there? What if he's right there the whole time? Of course, now it doesn't make any sense because, well, I guess he could have been to the left of the old man room, I suppose. But yeah, I was getting a little nervous having to do so many rooms in 9, and I kept looking up at the IRC just expecting that dot done. Rick's really gotten to the point where he can beat anybody, and I was not necessarily confident going into this. He's a great opponent for sure.
Rick can win the whole tournament. I'm with you there. He's very, very good at rando. He's got that sixth sense, and his combat backs it up. So he's a very strong opponent for sure.
So yeah, taking game 1 really is it's nice. It's kind of like, okay, just do you, just play the game, and if you lose, you lose. I mean, just do what you can, I suppose.
Is there anything with this flag set that you're doing differently than you don't do in just normal, pickup nights where you just play a random flag set against some other people? Just that's flag specific to these seeds that you don't do anywhere else?
I'm not really sure if there's anything in particular. I mean, I tend to over clear dungeons. Like in this seed, the only item I didn't see was 1 in 9 and 1 in 5. And if you deduce that the power bracelet was in 5, then that means the other item in 9 had to be the wooden boomerang. So I pretty much full cleared the seed. And I tend to clear a lot of rooms. I think when we were in the qualifiers, the first few weeks before shapes were brought in, that kind of backfired on me a little bit because I was clearing rooms that obviously couldn't be drop rooms, and it was kind of shooting myself in the foot a lot. But in shapes, there's a lot more randomness to it, so you're clearing rooms anyways. You're looking for keys, you're looking for the Triforce, you're looking for an item, and while you're doing that, you can use bombs for combat, so you can use bombs to blow up a wall and hopefully take out an enemy or two. I don't know if it's necessarily anything that I'm aiming to do, but I feel like I play stronger in this type of flag set.
You definitely play strong in every flag set we see you in, man. So you're a tough out no matter where it is, and you showed it tonight. Just a very, very strong, very fast seed from you.
Yeah, it definitely could have been faster, but all in all, I mean, with all the ladder blocks and taking the very scenic approach to level 7, it was so nice. You had to see it twice. I mean, outside of that, I mean, there wasn't really any major mistakes I made. I'm pretty happy with how it went. I definitely think it could have been a lot faster, but I can't wait for game 2. Hopefully, I can move on. That'd be pretty cool. But regardless, I'm going to stick around for Rick, and we'll cheer him onto the finish line. But GG's, of course, to my boy Rick. He's a longtime friend, and it's good to see him here in the Sweet 16. I'm really lucky to have an opponent as cool as Rick is.
Hey, Brewers, what you got?
I think you covered most of it with JSR. Trying to think if there were any other really interesting parts of the seed. Yeah, I think you got most of it. Let's say Rick paused on that game over screen for a second. I was hoping he hadn't forfeit, but no, he's still going.
Yeah, he's definitely the type of runner to finish it out. I mean, once he starts something and he'll see it through, which is a strength of his because that's how you learn, that's how you get better and whatnot. And he'll go back and you'll watch the tape on this JSR and he'll say, okay, what did JSR do that I didn't? And he's going to come back stronger, which is nice. That's what you want in your opponent. So Rick is confirming the original boomerang, wooden boomerang, is in level 9. So like you said, the power bracelet was in 5. So outside of Z1R, JSR, what are you doing these days?
Well, I am preparing to prepare, if that makes sense, for the big Zelda relay that got into AGDQ. Although I'm not actually part of the relay yet, per se. I am going to be one of the backups, so I want to make sure I'm on point. I'm going to be backing up Z1 and Z2. And doing the couch commentary along with a few other folks, and that should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for the community to finally get a Zelda relay in. It gives a lot of first-time runners of all 3 games a chance to shine on the biggest stage, because GDQs, they're so competitive, and of course you got to remember GDQ is a charity. They want to raise the most money they can for the charity, so they want to have popular runners in. So it makes it tough for them to have smaller streamers get the opportunities that something like this relay is going to offer for first-time runners. Long-time Zelda veterans, people we all know and respect, some of which were in this very tournament. In fact, all of which for Zelda 1 were in this tournament. Green Mario. Nobody follows Green Mario. You guys need to follow Green Mario. This guy is good enough to world record Zelda. Like, he's good. The fastest ever to sub 29. Is the nicest guy you'd ever meet. Funny as heck. A talented runner. He's going to get the opportunity to race at a GDQ for the first time. People like Justin Man and Rezavex in Z2. And then Josh RTA in A Link to the Past. They're all going to get the opportunity to play on the biggest stage in speedrunning. I think that's sick. And I'm excited for that. But outside of that, man, just, lots of rando haipu and going back to the ABG and trials as soon as somebody beats me. I mean, somebody needs to knock me out of this thing already. Come on, Rick. You got me in game 2 and 3. I already know it, though.
Yeah, I was hoping you're going to hit on a lot of that stuff. GG's on getting that Zelda run, and I cannot wait. If you're watching speed gaming right now, and this may be your first foray into Zelda 1 Randomizer or the Zelda community or whatnot, that is going to be one of the coolest things that you will see in the entire GDQ. And set your calendar for it, set your time for it, make sure every phone in your house has an alarm that goes off for it. Great guys that are going to be running, just a phenomenal set of communities that's going to be there, and I can't wait to watch that, man.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen the teams for that yet, I have to look it up because I actually don't remember. We had to change the teams around before we submitted it, because originally I was part of the submission, but there were some things that we had to change up, and I withdrew my name. But the Z1 runners are Cantaloupe Me, his first Zelda 1 run into GDQ, Green Mario and RC Drone. Zelda 2 is Pro JN, Rezavex and Justin Man 114, and then A Link to the Past will be TGH, Blunt Bunny, and Josh RTA. And those guys are all some of the best in each of those respective games, and are all just amazing people. And it's going to be so awesome, dude. I can't wait. To be able to see that in person is going to be something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I got a question in chat for you. Do you know what the official name of that run is going to be for the
according to the schedule, and the last I checked, it was scheduled for the Tuesday of GDQ week. It was just the Legend of Zelda series, and then the game category was Zelda Relay. It could be changed before the actual event, but it's one of the first really big events, and it's scheduled for a pretty good time slot. Last I saw, I think it's like 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. So it's going to be really exciting, really exciting for all of the 3 classic Zelda communities. and could open the door for more relays of other Zelda games or other franchises. I mean, we've seen the success of these relays with Mega Man, with Mario. When's our Castlevania relay, man? Let's get a Castlevania relay going. Or I know, we'll do a Final Fantasy 100% 1 through 15 relay. Let's go.
Oh, dude, come on, man. That's the whole GDQ, right? Doesn't it take 40 hours or whatever to beat?
No, I think the worst game is what's it called for the Baiten Kaitos? I don't even know how to say it for the GameCube. I think like 100% is like 300 hours for the speedrun.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Like people like will just leave their game capture recording and they'll go to bed and then wake up and play more.
God. Rick is on the path for everybody watching still and cheering him on. Rick is on the path that JSR was. The one thing we got to watch is he only got one bomb, and I think it's going to take a couple to get there. So he's going through. He's very, very close. He is just to the northwest of the room he needs to be in. So we got to hope these orange whiz ropes hook him up with some bombs. He was not on a count, spent a bomb to try to get it. Unfortunately, he's out. So let's hope that he's able to get through there. And I believe as long as he can get to the room to the north of it, there's a door there. So no, we need one more bomb here. Come on, Orange Dark Nuts. One time. Hit your global, Rick. He's got one more shot. The last one can drop him a bomb. Oh my god, he missed them both. He missed 6 and 8. Yeah, he's 2 rooms to the north in those Orange Dark Nuts. A clock dropped with, you know, a few left, and man, that was very close.
I don't think there was another way to get to him. Looking at my map, there was one there. If no matter what, it was going to take a bomb. And now that I'm looking at Rick's map, yeah, you needed bombs to get to Ganon. I don't think there was any other way, unless there was a magic staircase I missed.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think there's just the one way. We just need some bombs. JP, do you remember any of the?
No, I don't. I think right now what he's trying to do is he's trying to clear out some rooms, just hoping one of them has a bomb drop for a room prize.
There was a bomb drop, I think, in the room to the south of the one that
I think there might have been one
now.
in here.
Maybe it was this one. It was either this one or the one to the south. But he might have already got it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, he got it. I think he's going to look for a little bit more. He needs to go back that way, though. I don't know if there's more to explore than just that. But he was definitely 2 rooms away, chat, from where Zelda was, or Vergana was.
I'm almost certain that on that other path in the southwest, that small path there, GSR did try it and was not able to get in that way. Don't up an A, Rick. He's gone so far, he might not want to go back there now. Okay, he's walking back that way.
Alright, so Rick is now 5 rooms to the north of where Ganon is. He's very, very close again. Just got to clear out these guys. Every other room is going to be opened up for him to go through, so this is going to be a pretty quick finish from this. Oh, yeah, it was Jam. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jam does it every single year, and I don't know if he does it twice a year or whatnot, but he beats every Zelda game, and it's really, really fun to watch. Make sure you're following that dude as well. If you haven't followed JSR or Rick right now, one, there's something wrong with your head. Make sure you get yourself checked. Go find a competent doctor because there's something wrong with you. But if you are not following them, go over to their channel right now, slam that follow button, throw them a dono while you're at it, you know, why not? Just say it came from Redbird. And then go over to Jams, follow his because he does that Zelda series too. It's really fun to watch.
And then if you guys like the hottest of jams, make sure, speaking of jam, make sure you follow my boy Redbird as well as Brewers fan JP. And I want to thank you guys for the commentary tonight. And also, I believe our tracker was Dark Balls, or was it the dude?
Yeah, it was Dark. Dark was on the 1s and 2s, and he was doing a great job behind the scenes. So thanks to Dark. Yep.
And then I think our restreamer was Cyclone, correct?
That is correct. Cyclone did a great job as well. Hooked us all up, made us all make sure we're in the right place. And Rick is fighting Zelda, as we speak, JSR, he was right behind you, and he's got this stun lock, a beautiful stun lock in the southwest. Gonna take her out, quick up A, and he is gonna be done as well. Fighting Zelda, saving Ganon, just like it's supposed to be. And with that, JP, we have Rick finishing with an official SRL time of 1:14:43. Get your GGs in chat for both of these runners. Fantastic race. This was everything we thought it was going to be. A great race all the way through. We're going to get Rick in here. We're going to talk to both these guys. We're going to calm down a little bit because that was a fun, exciting race.
Yeah, the races was closer than the times would suggest. 55 versus 114. I think the race was definitely closer than that. But it was definitely a great first race. As we mentioned earlier, race 2 is scheduled for tomorrow, with race 3 scheduled for Monday if necessary. Both of those remaining races will be at the exact same time. Channel still to be determined, though. We'll have to figure out what. We'll just keep an eye on the schedule as we figure those out.
And we are joined by Mr. AdirondackRick. Rick, sir, GG's, well played. Your thoughts?
Dark Nuts and Wizrobes living in perfect harmony.
It's always fun to walk into Vanilla 1 and see that set, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
GG's, Rick.
Yeah, GG's to you. My goodness, 55 minutes in the sea like this.
I got extremely lucky when I went into level 8. I think it was a bomb or a ladder block. I'm pretty sure it was a ladder block to the Triforce. And I found a path towards the northeast, and I got the wand. And it was a lifesaver with all these enemies. It was just so nice to have.
I'm going to guess you ended up... did you get the raft on their first trip in the 2, or did you have to come back for that?
I actually had to come back for the raft. I found every item except for the raft in 2. I think my first time into all the dungeons, except for 1, I forgot the bow. I had to go back later and get that. But
wow.
After 7, it was either I was missing something, and I went back to 2 and got the raft.
And yet you got this done in 55 minutes. My goodness.
He could have had about 53 to 54, but you can either watch it back and find the funny moment,
I don't
or
want to.
we'll
We
tell
don't need
you.
to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. We can just.
Rick, I'll tell you. So
No.
JSR's in 7, and he clears it out and whatnot. He finds both items, both hearts. He skips out on both hearts, and he's like, all right, cool, peace out, and I'm going to go on and keep going, except for he forgot the Triforce. So he up-aid and saved, and he had to walk his lazy butt all the way back up to 7, and I laughed the entire time.
So he pulled a Unos.
Basically.
He almost did it twice.
I almost did it in 1 also. After going back and grabbing the underground item, he almost up-aid right there too.
And the other funny part is, he went back to 7. He thought, okay, I'm gonna at least be able to get the magical sword out of this. Nope.
13 hearts, no mags.
Mag was 14.
If only you knew of a couple of heart containers you could have grabbed.
I knew of 2 and 7 that I noped out of that I was kind of kicking my butt.
If only you knew of the location of a couple of heart containers, JSR. I just... My good, I'm just stunned the fact that you got this done in 55 minutes when you knew where everything was. It's astounding to me because I didn't feel like I should have been 20 minutes behind in that case, but it happened. I mean, your 9, I don't know how your 9 was, but...
My 9 was kind of crazy. I got to the area that you got to. I was watching on the restream when you ran out of bombs just now in 9. And I was, the whole time I kept looking up at the IRC, wondering if maybe you had gone left from that first room in level 9. And I didn't check that, and the whole time I went all the way around the perimeter, took every magic staircase. I could not find Ganon, and I got a little nervous there. You definitely could have beaten me tonight, and it was I was a little nervous. I'm not even gonna lie, Rick. I was nervous.
Well, understandable. I mean, we're at this part of the tournament here where one mistake could definitely send you awry, but I'm guessing I just found everything a lot slower because I took longer paths to get to everything. Like level 8, I found I took the long way around and got absolutely nothing out of it.
There were a couple levels that JSR did dig. Went through them really quick where you did dig more. I think level 8 was one of them. I think level 6, you dug a little more than GSR did. I think GSR was out of 6 really quick, like 10 to 12 rooms.
Well, yeah, if you went left as opposed to all the way around, I know my 6 was absolutely horrible considering where both of the items were. If you went to the north and then tried to the south, that's it. Level 6 was done and over with.
Yeah, my 6 was super, super clean. Unlike my 8, my 6 was, I don't even know how many rooms it was, but it was pretty fast.
Yeah, that was kind of the difference in the longer dungeons, Rick, is just you did a couple more segments than JSR did, and probably 2 or 3 dungeons, and then plus just the 30-minute time difference on the wand, and all the levels that you had to just use the wood sword until you found the white sword is huge.
How did you get the wand on your first trip in? Like, what was the path you took in 8?
I can't remember exactly, but it was toward the northeast, I believe. I found the heart container and the boomerang pretty early, and I saw the ladder block. And I don't think I ever did find the map. I don't recall if I did. I mean, obviously we know it now, but...
It was in the southern area of 8.
But I was kind of just grasping for straws at that point, hoping I'd get lucky to find the Triforce. I really wasn't digging for all 3 items. And came across the wand. I think it was like the last room that I was able to get to without the ladder.
I'm going to guess you ended up... you got this in your first trip in within like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was something kind of...
That would do it definitely right there, because you fighting off against Darknuts with a wood sword, with a wand, versus me trying to tackle him down with a wood sword, that's a difference right there.
And then after 8, I did 6 and got the white sword. So then I had white sword as well. That helped with the Wizroads a lot too.
That's something I don't understand, is why runners want to go up to Death Mountain immediately after 1. That's something I have yet to figure out myself, and this one here is just more of a combative advantage. But at that point, I hadn't found 9. I hadn't found... Really hadn't found anything.
Did I do 6 after 8?
Good.
I can't even remember. Did I do 6 after 8? I can't even remember anymore. I know I up-aid because I ran out of... I think I ran out of bombs in 8, and I up-aid and got Candle went to 1. I can't remember. Seems kind of a blur now.
I can't remember the sequence either. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll watch this one back to see how it went down, because I'm amazed. Like, definitely, if you said that JSR had the white sword and the wand a significant time difference than I do, then that's a big difference when you're looking at some of these dungeons. Plus the fact that I nearly full cleared 6 trying to get to the second item when it was just simply 2 rooms south of the Triforce.
Yeah, you went back and you grabbed the bow out of 1, probably about 10 minutes before JSR did, so you had that advantage. But unfortunately, you never were able to take advantage of it because it was all dark nuts that you were clearing to try to get the other items. So the silvers didn't really help you and give you that edge back in combat that it could have compared to losing out of the wand so early.
If only the Lionels were in more dungeons, then I could have definitely taken advantage of it, but I can understand how that went down. But... thankfully, this is a best of 3 series, and game 2 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, Rick. And again, GG's, man. It's good that we finally got to meet up in one of these. We've done a few of these together. We've never faced off in a rando tournament, I don't think, have we?
No, we haven't. Didn't I face you in Zelda 1 Vanilla?
Yeah, we faced in the Vanilla one. That was
Vanilla.
the one... I think that was the one that I took the... was it the one I took the red Ganon death? Or was it the one with the fire... I think it was the fireballs.
Oh, I don't remember exactly.
You died to Ganon? Somebody clip that for me.
I don't know if we have that video anymore.
Yeah, I need that, man. I need that
burned
clip.
it.
I made sure I burned all the clips. I magnets on all the hard drives. And No,
She paid off Speed
like-
Gaming. He paid off Speed Gaming staff.
Yeah, I bet he did too.
real talk though, it's been awesome to see how much you've improved, man, and you're definitely a threat. And I'm just thrilled that we got to finally meet up, and especially in a match that is this awesome, this important. So
much appreciated. And I can't take you lightly. I know that my 9 was just atrocious once I got deeper and deeper in, but by that point in time, I mean, the writing was on the wall at that point.
Well, if you guys enjoyed this, they're coming back tomorrow night. And I'm sorry, JSR, I love you both. This is going 3. You guys you're fantastic. This is a matchup that I've been looking forward to. I saw this is the first Sweet 16 matchup we got to see. So you guys are kicking off this round for us, which is cool. But yeah, this is a fun one. There's a cool dynamic. You guys are very, very close, very comparable, and you put on a heck of a race tonight. Any final thoughts from you guys?
Tomorrow night, we're not going to have a 20-minute difference. We're going to have a lot closer than that this time around.
He's calling you out. He said he's going to beat you down. All right, JSR, respond.
Actually, I hope it is the case. I would love to see this go 3. I think it's best for the community. I think it's awesome that there's so many people all so close in skill, in knowledge. You look at the level of competitor that we have in the tournament, even in the round of 64. I mean, look at all the game 3s we've had. Yunus is taken to a game 3. Saver was taken to a game 3. And the list goes on. You were taken to a game 3. I mean, all those runners
get to a game 3.
Yeah, like all those runners that took them, these other runners to games 3 were newer runners, but were all skilled and all deserved to be on that upper echelon along with those runners they faced. And that continues to be it's not even a trend anymore. I think that's just what we can expect from Zelda 1 Randomizer with how popular it's gotten with the GDQ run at SGDQ and with the growth of this community. And it's the best community I've ever been a part of. And you guys are awesome. And I just hope everyone keeps at it and we can continue to see the new faces tearing it up every single tournament. That being said, I hope there's no game 3. I'm gonna do my best not to say.
Well, yeah, I echo your sentiments, JSR. This community is just fantastic, and the whole tournament's been great from the get-go. There's 5 games tomorrow, and there's a couple really heated ones, which are going to be awesome. We start at 11 in the morning Eastern time with RC, Drone, and Karakarn. They're going at it, and they'll go to game 3 if they have to right after that. Then we have Can't Find Bombs and RKC at 8:30 Eastern. That's a game 3 right there. Rick and you guys are going at it at 9 o'clock Eastern, and then Saver and Angel are going at it, their game 3 at 9 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. So we have got a huge slate tomorrow that's going to decide quite a bit on Sunday. This is Bloody Sunday tomorrow night. Make sure you're there, everybody.
All that's missing from that RBG is Sunday, be there.
I need your voice for that, man. I'm trying to sell it. I don't have your voice. All right, JP, bring us out of here. Good games, guys. I'm going to peace out. Thanks, Speed Gaming, for everything you guys do for us. And you guys are fantastic, of course. JP, take us out.
Just also one more heads up. We still have Captain Green and Chester going on Randomania. They are still going in their race. This is their second race of 3, so make sure to check out that one too. As well as I said, check out all the races tomorrow. Thanks to Red Big Red for joining me. Thanks to Dark Falls. Thanks to Rick and JSR. And thanks to everyone for watching, and have a good night.